These are the eyes of some of the mass killers who've reportedly been regular pot users. Look at them. Those in politics and in the media who devote their time and energy to fear-mongering on fake issues while covering up the truth about the growing scourge of violent psychosis in our young people, they have to be called out, they have to be defeated, and then the public has to be educated. And parents, this means you need to get into the game. This means you understanding that this can happen to you, to your family, no matter how wealthy you are, how well-adjusted you are, how mature and together your children seem. It's time to call out the phonies and call in the warriors for common sense. And that's the angle.
What does that mean? No, straight up, what does that mean? I was listening to that again. I heard her say it before. What does that mean when Laura Ingraham says, hey, we have to call out the phonies and the fakes? Hey, families, you have to understand your kids can be at risk as well. Like, okay, like what does that mean when we're talking about this latest mass shooting that happened? What does that mean? Oh yeah, all of our kids, they're youthful. Our youth are just out there, and can you believe it? You need to do something. Do what? Especially since we're avoiding the actual topic. But she's talking about there at the bottom comment on the screen. You can see the focus of this entire angle that she pointed out. Modern pot. Let's look at that again. That she had at the bottom. Exactly what is modern pot is the first question. Is it this newly engineered pot? I think they have been saying that. But young folks are smoking too much weed, so therefore they are shooting up folks. Oh, shooting up people. Tucker Carlson's also on the same network. He says things to try and blame anything else but guns as well. Here's Tucker.
Look at Robert Bobby Crimo. Would you sell a gun to that guy? Does he seem like a nutcase? Of course he does. So why didn't anyone raise an alarm? Well, maybe because he didn't stand out. Maybe because there are a lot of young men in America who suddenly look and act a lot like this guy. It's not an attack, it's just true. Like Crimo, they inhabit a solitary fantasy world of social media, porn, and video games. They're high on government-endorsed weed. Smoke some more, it's good for you. They're numbed by the endless psychotropic drugs that are handed out at every school in the country by crackpots posing as counselors.
Because that's what's happening. So Tucker Carlson paints this picture of this young man. He said, by the way, he said these young men are looking and acting like this guy. Suddenly, if you go back to Columbine, you'll suddenly see that it's the exact same type of person. But the one thing that they all had in their hands were these weapons that murdered a bunch of people all at the same time. It's weird that that's still happening. But he had more on this because it wasn't just video games, pot, and porn and social media. It's actually, you guessed it, women.
Of course, they're angry. They know that their lives will not be better than their parents. They'll be worse. That's all but guaranteed. They know that. They're not that stupid. And yet the authorities in their lives, mostly women, never stops lecturing them about their so-called privilege. You're male, you're privileged. Imagine that. Try to imagine an unhealthier, unhappier life than that. So a lot of young men in America are going nuts. Are you surprised? And by the way, a shockingly large number of them have been prescribed psychotropic drugs by their doctors, SSRIs or antidepressants.
He said, can you imagine that? Well, I don't have to imagine it because he just came up with this imaginary scenario already where, the large influences on their lives are women, of course. All those women are, they be nagging, tapping on his shoulder all the time. Hey, get off the video games. Hey, stop with the porn. Hey, chill out with the social media. Stop it. So apparently it's nagging women wise, and it's also video games, porn, social media. Before in the 90s, it was violent movies. It's just recycling the same thought processes over and over again and continue to think people are gonna buy it. And maybe they will.
Yeah, there's just kind of no coherence to any of this argument whatsoever. This idea that it's video games or that it's porn or it's social media, or is it the hard drugs that pharmaceuticals are pushing on people? Is it weed that's too strong now? Which, by the way, Jayar, I don't know about you, but from my understanding of the stronger weed, you're more likely to sit on your couch with a big old bag of Doritos. But I don't know, I might be wrong about that part of it. I just, these people on Fox News, obviously, they don't believe in the capacity for the government to do good works, for the government to put in policy that makes people's lives better. And so, of course, they think the problem is people, right? It's not the conditions under which we bring these people up and through. It's that people are jerking off too much, are smoking too much weed, and the women are calling them privileged. Like it's people's faults, and it's not the policies we put in place where it's just like, here's a gun. No job to speak of that has dignity, that'll make you pay these soaring rents, that'll make you be able to start a family, perhaps own a home. None of that. Here's the gun. Here's nothing else. Go out in society. We won't help you when it comes to therapy and mental health because we have a ridiculously failing healthcare system. Pharmaceutical companies, I do agree with them on that point. These people on their profit motive, they are drugging the hell out of people. Way less so than marijuana because they're doing it quite legally on the federal level. And we give these people nothing else to speak of. But Tucker Carlson is not gonna talk about public goods and public works because he doesn't believe in them.
Not at all. So this thing, Tucker Carlson's approach is to talk about the bad things people are going through, which is true. As you said, you'll find these nuggets of information where he'll say, hey, these people are in dire situations, lack of good jobs, low paying wages, and lists all these things that oddly libs like to list and say we'd like to change so that people are in better situations and we actually have a healthier country and people who contribute to society in a better way or feel any kind of way a part of contributing to this or even having something that they're due. Being paid and living, being able to pay your rent and your bills. So those types of things he'll bring up, but he always cuts it off with who supports him, who has brought him to this point are the people who are absolutely against those things. So you can preach all the good stuff, but when you're paid by the people who actually actively work against those things, you're just fooling people into thinking you're some kind of savior or some knowledgeable person who's actually using them.